Today on Haas's Kitchen, we're going to go through the reverse sear method. This is a way to cook red meat. You can do steaks, it works fantastic, but the steaks have to be at least an inch thick. Even thicker is better. I happen to have here some venison backstraps, some delicious Michigan deer meat. And we're also going to take the filming outside because I'm going to cook this on my Traeger pellet grill out on the driveway. So what is the reverse sear method? Well, typically people will take a cold steak from the fridge, put some seasoning on it, and as it's cold, they throw it right in a hot pan. They sear both sides, and then they stick it in the oven. The problem with that, though, is that meat won't turn brown until all the surface moisture has evaporated. So if you do it that way, you're actually steaming your steak when you put it in the hot pan. So the reverse sear method does it in opposite order. What we're going to do is we're going to cook the red meat low and slow, 225 degrees, until it reaches, for me, an internal temperature of 120. Then we're going to, what that's going to do is cook the meat nice and gingerly, and then it's also going to evaporate all the surface moisture. So then when I take it off the Traeger pellet grill and bring it inside to sear it in a cast iron skillet, it's just going to brown up right away. So the first step to the reverse sear method, or whenever I cook red meat, this could be steak, or again here I have the venison, is I want to salt it about an hour before I'm going to cook it. So I'm just going to grab a couple pinches of kosher salt. I'm going to salt my piece of venison nice and liberally, and I'm going to stick this back in the fridge for about an hour. Okay, it's been an hour. The meat is now out of the fridge. Here's are the other things we're going to need in order to do this. First is the additional seasonings. I like fresh pepper and some garlic powder, which I'll add right now. Then a good idea, if you do it in a tray like this, is just to roll it around, and you'll get all the areas covered. So that is fully seasoned. The other things you're going to need some type of pan you can get really hot on your stove. I recommend either cast iron or carbon steel. Today I'm going to be using cast iron. You also need a meat thermometer because we need to know the internal temperature of the meat, and also some really good butter. I like Kerrygold. Now let's go outside. We are outside in Haas's driveway, and if you've never seen a pellet grill before, I just wanted to show you how they work. So I happen to have a Traeger pellet grill, and these things are awesome. You're able to set the temperature, and it stays consistent just like an oven. I have it set for 225 degrees. The fuel source are these little wood pellets like that, and you set the temperature, and then there's an auger inside that just spins the auger and adds more wood to the fire whenever you need it to maintain the temperature. Then you have a normal grilling surface, and you can see it gets kind of smoky. So a reason I like it, it's kind of like an oven, kind of like a smoker, and kind of like a grill, and the food turns out great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my venison loin on there at 225 degrees, and then I have my probe meat thermometer set for an alarm for 120, and I'm going to pull this off at 120 degrees. We're back outside. The thermometer says just over 110 degrees, so I've still got a little ways to go to hit 120. To get perfect medium rare on my venison. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the cast iron skillet on high heat on the stove and get it preheated. Okay, the meat just hit 120 degrees. I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to take my venison out of the pellet grill. Now we're going to go inside, and I'm going to show you how to sear it. Now we're back inside, and this pan is screaming hot. It's been preheated for at least 5 minutes on high heat. There's little wisps of smoke coming off the pan. That's how hot you want it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a nice big pat of some good butter to it. And it's going to burn and sizzle and probably turn a little brown, and that's totally okay. So it's a nice big pat of butter. Put that in there, and just let that melt for a bit. Okay, the butter's all melted. It's turning a little bit brown. The pan is really hot. We're going to add our venison. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to count to 30, and then I'm going to move it around until the whole outside is nice and brown. 30. Now I'm going to flip. There's another 30 seconds. Now I'm going to flip it again. And the reason we're doing this is we just want the brown. It's already cooked. And by flipping it every 30 seconds, you're not going to get a lot of gray on the outside. It's going to be just like nice and charred on the outside, and then all pink all throughout. Okay, gonna flip again. Okay, there's our last flip. I did about 6 or 7 flips on this. It's nice and charred on the outside. I'm gonna get it out of the pan and onto a cutting board and let it rest for about 5 minutes before slicing it. The venison's been resting for 5 minutes. Now we're gonna slice it. I like my stuff nice and medium rare, and let's see how we did. There we go. That is perfectly, just barely any brown around the outside, nice and charred, all pink on the inside. That is perfectly cooked venison. So there you have it, the reverse sear method for cooking nice thick steaks or other types of red meat. And give it a try sometime and let me know what you think in the comments below. One really important thing, you don't have to have a pellet grill to do this. You can set your oven to 225 degrees and it'll turn out just as good. Well, maybe not quite as good, but really, really good. So, if you like your steaks at different doneness, see the description below, and I have a chart of the different donenesses to pull them off the grill. So if you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Hoss's Kitchen.